Alright, so this is going to be my last YouTube video for the year 2020 because it's December 31st, 2020, and the new year will basically be on us come midnight. So it's going to be my address to Jamaica. And this is how I'm going to end the State of Jamaica and Caribbean page for the year. I mean, bear in mind that after today, same old. But I just want to end the year for 2020 for State of Jamaica Caribbean with this very important YouTube video. So this is my address to Jamaica. So as the new year is about to end, this is going again my last YouTube video for this particular page. All right. And it's been an eventful year. Now you can tell I wrote down a lot of it because I'm getting more in the habit of writing key points, bullet points, so to speak, for this particular type of video. I usually read what I'm going to say from a news clipping, but outside of that, I usually just ad lib. But this is very important. This is too important for me to just start making things up, say this stuff on the fly. I really want to be as composed as I can. So let's continue. All right, it's been an eventful year for Jamaica and also the rest of the world. All right, the biggest event that has been going on basically all year has been the Big C, COVID-19, or what we're allowed to see on YouTube. So for the YouTube, Gestapo decided to pull your card if you say the wrong thing in regards to this certain pandemic. All right. All right, and the thing is that we're still going through it because this has been all year, as I've said, and this and as a result, we've had the way that we've usually been accustomed to living on a daily basis that has been disrupted for the time being. We have not yet hit the peak with the big C, but it's complicated things on a whole major level for Jamaica and the rest of the world. And the thing is to bear in mind is with the pandemic, there's been a lot of health issues. A lot of people have passed away, and also economically, it's been hell on earth because so many businesses have gone under. Many people who have had established employment have lost their employment. And in Jamaica, we've always been down that slippery slope when it comes to economic dilemma, which is by design, obviously. And this big C has made it worse. All right, no. All right, and the thing is, I'm going to get into how our government or the people have handled it very soon. But aside from this, we have the continual crime and corruption problem. The ever-present two-headed monster Jamaica refused to fight on. Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating this as that's the reason we're not fully facing this beast head on. We've notable casualties of the crime and corruption monster has been individuals like Jasmine Dean, Tamara Geddes, Eroy David, Karen Nugent, Asbert Campbell, Stephen McPherson, and I will note that several of the individuals I just named basically made the headlines for like a hot minute before they basically faded away because thing is that we've gone way beyond the point where we're desensitized to these murders because many of us have had the mindset, and unfortunately this is proven true, that many of these are going to go unsolved, and not because that they can't be unsolved, because one, people who know what the real deal is, what went down, are not talking, whether they're too afraid or too indifferent to. And also that many of these that Jamaica's so-called justice system we have a hierarchy of importance when it comes to whose murder gets solved and whose doesn't. Unfortunately for most Jamaicans, we fall in the latter category of we don't give a damn if you leave the mortal coil on a very violent and very sinister circumstances. There's just a drop in the bucket where the so-called justice system is concerned. All right, and as I said, I could name more people. Like I'm not even going to bother bringing up those that I think her name. I forget the name of that grand lady and her two granddaughters were killed by those demons, who again need to who again need to be sent off the mortal coil if they're still walking the earth. I could go be up till 6 in the morning naming as how many people have lost their lives under very sinister and spooky circumstances. Whether or not these people are innocent or not, or we continue to lead continue to do track record numbers when it comes to the casualty counts on a daily yearly basis. And sadly, in 2021, that's not going to abate anytime soon. And yeah, some of these people, one of the few people who gotten justice has been Tamara Geddes. I think I did a video on her already, and we're displaying her situation. And yeah, we can also bring up the fact that noted outlaws like Precky Boy, Bun Waste, OJ, and various others were taken down by security forces. And yeah, we can also expect that they've had their followers and support and sycophants who have just who are decrying their killings as these, according to their logic, were good, wonderful human beings who, and the security forces are the villains. And yeah, are there criticisms to be made of the security forces and the so-called justice system? Yeah, but at the same time, there are also criticisms made of the sycophants and the enablers of these criminal elements who know that these people are not choir boys, but will put in more effort to lionize and canonize these individuals who made them meet their just ends, all right, but they won't do it for the genuine innocent people who were victims of these monsters and whoever. Because like I say, you're not seeing as many people doing this for some of these individuals I just mentioned, and so on. And unfortunately, we're still not past that phase of glorifying the wrong elements and demonizing the right elements. We're still on that phase though. All right. Okay, yeah, and so on. But I say the thing with Jamaica, I said that the crime and corruption problem, as I was saying earlier, is this is something that we refuse to acknowledge. No, on one hand, we will say that the economic situation in Jamaica contributes a lot to the crime and corruption issue because when by having that plantation slavery system that was purposely designed, and I've said it before, we have taken on the mindset of being at slave plantation. Some of our own people believe have never left that plantation because this is why we think like slaves, act like slaves, and the ones who don't act like the big massa back row, whatever you want to call the oppressor. And then their logic is that we're going to be the ones that are going to crack that whip over the other Negroes, because most people tell you, we don't have it's slavery's over. That issue of racism that is gone. That's there's so much. It's more about class and whatever. And people say that miss me all the way with that bullshit. That race issue is still there. Yeah, we're not having any white supremacists, little white supremacists, burning crosses in the backyards in Jamaica. We're not having little white supremacists saying the N word out loud. Well, not too openly, of course, maybe behind closed doors. But we still have the economic system, and let's just also remember that same oppressor class runs things behind the scenes because many of the so-called leaders and people and power brokers we have in Jamaica are the willing collaborators and puppets. All right, and the thing is that, and I've said this before in other recordings, that Jamaica knows this. Most Jamaicans at this point know this. I mean, it's just that we can play dumb, much to our detriment, unfortunately. But we know what the deal is. Too many of us either are too cowardly or we just don't care. I mean, like many of us are still think that the only important thing is, hey, our survival and our future and our progress don't matter. Is being next to Massa, getting that pat on the head, and being this good little darky that these good old white folks or close to white folks um, find favor with me. That's more important than our economic, because when many of our these businesses, these or so-called leaders, even some of the people in the level sell out pieces of Jamaica, it's not really about what profit we can get overall. I mean, we'll use that excuse, but it's just more about, okay, we just want that, we just want those little butter biscuits. We just want massa or closest next to massa to actually give us an affirmation and say, and also just say, hey, you're a good little boy. That's more important because you never see a lot of these Jamaican politicians, these business people, whoever, sell a piece of Jamaica to other black countries, like in Africa, certainly not in North America, right? Because the idea of them having more black people come over in large numbers, and provided they're not coons, just like too many of us are in Jamaica are, like I said, that we just don't like the optics because we still have that self-hate issue that's just so apparent that we don't want these other Negroes coming in because that would just basically help to abolish or disrupt plantation system that Jamaica refuses to let go. And I say that, and we have to keep saying that because until just enough of us, I'm not going to say all of us, address that, we're not really going to be able to go and shake that crime and corruption monster, which came is a direct influence of this plantation system, a system that too many Jamaicans are too comfortable with. Because even if we know the facts like that, we'll make up excuses why we're not going to do it, what and so on, how long it's going to take. And I say this because I don't expect this to happen in my lifetime, because it's going to take, probably I'll be old and dead in the grave before that possibly happens, unless you get enough people day by day who are in positions of power, have positions of influence that the forces, the bad guys, cannot defeat or take out to prove me wrong. All right, but I always say that this is going to be a long-term thing, and too many of us who are not serious don't want to be for the long haul. And the thing is, what I'd also say about the whole crime and corruption thing, and this is a very good point I make, is that the ones that know better, the ones that really want to see things better, to get better, or at least know that we're heading that wrong rabbit hole. I think many of us are hoping that somebody, some hero riding on a white horse, like John Wayne, or one of those figures from a Western movie, or something, one of those knights from a sword and sorcery movie, whatever, are going to ride in and they're going to come and do all the heavy lifting, and we are not, and everyone's just sit back and do nothing while someone else does all the work. The thing about that is, if you think that way, you're going to be remain in bondage, proverbial and literal bondage, if you generally believe that someone's going to do all the hard work for you, or a few people are going to come in like the Justice League from the comic books and eliminate crime and corruption, and then everybody else gets to go back to doing bullshit and so on, like whether it's Sheldon, all right, Pasa Pasa, or like just drinking Heineken, smoking spliff. All right, there's bullshit, doing talking about bullshit. I mean, like, we think that is the zenith of what our occupational time should include. And I think this is not all Jamaicans. They're Jamaicans who know better, who are brilliant, accomplished people, who want to see better. Unfortunately, they're told to sit down and be quiet by the rabble who think just like the type of people I mentioned. People who like doing bullshit, the people like being idlers, waste man, waste gal, who like being crash program, whatever adjectives you want to describe. Yeah, there are too many of us who still are on that non-progressive element ship. And the thing is, though, is that we more and more people need to push back against this. And this is what I've always said in a lot of corners I do, especially when some bullshit happens to some person or individual. I said Jamaica needs a warrior class. We had that when we had our backs against the wall, and then We sold out, and then we sold out to the British, and then things just went bad from there, unfortunately. But we need to bring that true warrior class back and collectively. Like all these young men, especially who have lost, who are drifting, doing bullshit, doing not want to amount to much. And again, a lot has the blames on the generations before them who did not take time to teach and instill these youths with opportunities, moral values, and also to instill them with that moral backbone that or better yet to teach them how to be show guide them in how to be in future leaders for this country. Never squandered that and just said, okay, just having children just for sport, me that's a function that's the main goal of reproducing. I mean, we're just going to breed just like we're wild animals. I mean, just having children defines who we are. I mean, nothing said about raising these children right, giving them opportunities, giving them a legacy to build upon. All right, I mean that's an afterthought to me. Just harkening back to the plantation era days where we just breed just for the sake of breeding, like having these plantation studs and so on, these plantation breeders. I don't know what the female version of a plantation stud would be. If you know, I'll probably please enlighten me on that one. I mean, just having children without really instilling them with proper guidance and whatever. I mean, that's more important than raising these children right though. And yeah, was that always a prevailing problem throughout the generations? Yeah, but at least at some point, like you would have people who basically did not probably thought differently. But again, these are people that are treated as anomalies. And at this late day and age, these unfortunate these people are indeed anomalies. And yeah, I have done recordings of these youths who are actually trying to make something good of themselves, not result into crime and whatever. All right, and not adhering to that stereotype of that only sports and entertainment is our be all end all. But then again, those type of young youths are again treated given like a hot minute of attention, whether by people on a general level or in the media. They're not treated as those people who should be the norm. All right, you'll never hear us collectively upholding the youth who builds a car out of fudge sticks and out of rulers or stones, and has the capabilities of being a technician or engineer. You're not going to hear about the youth or the black Jamaican. I'm bringing race back into this, who went on to earn 3 degrees in very important fields. I mean, the Jamaican who basically did the dirty wine or some other dance move, all right, or did some very clownish and buffoonish out in public. That's the Jamaican we are going to uphold, show fond attention to, and put on this pedestal of achievement. I mean, and unfortunately, the Jamaican who again is whose criminal rap sheet reads longer than a python in the jungle. That is who we are going to glorify and exalt. I mean, bear in mind that those who go down that path always end up in either Horizon or Madden's funeral home. But during the time that they're living, they're glorified and lauded as true beacons of excellence. And again, that ties to the mindset too many Jamaicans still have, and unfortunately, it's worsening. I'm just going to be honest with that. All right, and so on. And yeah, if people are going to get mad about this particular points, because I'm not taking any sides. Like everybody from the highest to the lowest in terms of hierarchy in Jamaica, all of you are going to continue to get that work for end of 2020 to beyond. or in fact in 2021, which is basically coming up and after midnight, you're still going to get that work. Mark, bear in my mind though, it's not. I'm not building this platform to conform to bullshit, to this nonsense fully about entertainment. And yeah, I do talk about entertainment too. I've addressed things in music and entertainment, but that's not the main focus of this platform. My main focus is talking about social issues, especially what's going on in the black diaspora. All right, and this is going to, and I'm going to tie this into the politics side now. And yeah, politics again, which is unfortunately, part of the corruption man, was a head of the other head of the two head of the crime and corruption beast. Yeah, politics this year again. It's been big because we had two notable elections. The general elections were predictably the current government GLP thrashed the PNP, which was not to be which was not which everybody knew was going to happen because let's say that the former member leader of the PNP, Peter Phillips, wasn't really a safe. He wasn't a safe bet, and even he knew that deep down. But again, he went ahead and led his party off that. He probably led his party off that proverbial cliff where they basically crashed and burned upon impact. Because under Peter Phillips's very brief and very forgettable tenure as leader of the PNP, it suffered one of its worst losses ever. Because the current government won most of the majority of the seats. And again, and as I said, that this is not really to cheerlead for the GLP, because my thing is that, and this is something Jamaica is still stuck on. Neither side is a friend of Jamaicans on a whole. Any Jamaican on a whole who at its late date who believes otherwise, you're a damn fool. But a part of our problem is that we like that plantation slave system so much, and these two parties who act as overseers, we just want to be under the whip when they're cracking it. Whoever is running the yard and whoever is cracking that proverbial whip overhead. That's too many Jamaicans want me. Like we want that to be on the plenty. Just want to be on the big hole. We just want to be on the slave estate. And yeah, and to all the diehard GLP PNP fans, if this offends you, good. All right. Again, like I said, I'm not begging no friend here. All right, and we're still on that. And as I said, GLP, PNP, so one's worst losses, and which was a good thing because many of those relics and fossils in the opposition needed to go, and many of them went. But unfortunately, you know that many of them have, even though they're down, they're not completely out because the other big election, which was in the opposition between PM Lisa Hanna and Pete and Mark Golan, and they're recording on this. Saw a new leader in Mark Golan, and again I said that was surprising because most of the media was going towards Lisa Hanna, which they wanted to make her into the Portia Simpson Miller, which was a double-edged sword. I mean, on one hand, they figured, okay, since Portia's charm, even though she was not an effective leader, lightning could strike twice in the same place with Lisa Hanna. Even though, let's just face it, her constituents is not. Many of them aren't really happy with her, even though she was reelected by a very thin margin. And also the other part of that too, that double-edged sword, is that they figured, okay, if she's at Portia, it's just this figurehead, a pretty face, that Andrew Holness, who's again many of us call Baby Bruce, they figured, okay, it's gonna be Bruce Gold and Portia Simpson Miller Part Two. They figured, okay, I'm going to be in power for more than 2 terms if Lisa Hanna's going to be there, because she's going to be she's going to lead her party to another defeat, just like Peter Phillips did. And but unfortunately for them, they figured wrong because Mark Golan, to many surprise, won it, as I said. But that was a short-lived victory because A lot of the faction that wanted Lisa Hand to win, the faction that was sided with Peter Phillips when Bunting, who Bunting and Golan are basically close at bench and batty, if you know that term. They're basically been gone to it to undermine him by appointing Philip Paulwell and Dayton Campbell. It's Andrew Bromberg and Raymond Fraser Price who Golden wanted, and then there's that very embarrassing debacle with Norman Horn refusing to um what's the term I'm looking for? Refusing to give up his seat to Peter Bunting, who again, as I said before, was let back into the walled city thanks to Mark Golan. But and as you know, Horn was one of the people that sided with Peter Phillips against Peter Bunting, much like Lisa Hanna, because we know that if Lisa Hanna had won, Horn wouldn't have done this because they're all in part of that same faction. So, and the thing is, I said this is again not to really be a cheerleader or booster for Mark Golan's faction, because again, I have criticisms of Bunting. As I said before, there have definitely been things said about Angela Brown Burke, personally wise, so I'm not really taking her side. And so, but the thing is, again, the only good has come that many of the dinosaurs, even though they're not going to go away right away, because there's going to be more infighting. At least I liked what that symbolized, that there's some attempt to clean house. But then again, as I said, that the likelihood of Golden and company being any better or whatever than the other leaders, yeah, that's a 50-50 at this point. And I'm already keeping track. I already have their papers. I'm already keeping track. I have an idea of their track record. So I'm trying. I and many Jamaicans who have who know better are keeping score of what was going on. So that's pretty. And apart from that, you've had the usual corruption with ongoing Petrojam saga scandal, where they try to lionize Wheatley, Andrew Wheatley, who was part of it. And like I said, despite this ill attempt by a certain newspaper, which I'll not mention, to canonize Wheatley as this paragon of virtue, it fell flat. And then there's Vaz again, more controversy, not surprising, and ongoing trial with Rule Reed and Fitzpinnock, which I think Fritz Pinnock, sorry, which has yet to really really go to trial. But my prediction for that would be either Reed and Pinnock walk or they get this bullshit sentence. Because what's going to happen is if Rural Reed gets charged in particular, that's then going to set a precedence that corrupt politicians are going to be punished. And also the fact that if Reed is charged, Reed is going to link a plea deal where he drops a lot of information on his cohorts, most likely in his own party, and that's going to lead to opening a lot of doors for other stuff to come out. And and the thing is, you'd have to understand in both sides, both the GLP and PNP, neither of them want that. They don't like that precedent being set because if you go down that slippery slope, it's going to have a snowball effect. And before you know it, a lot of politicians and a lot of other people of their ilk are going to be facing that lady justice, and that's something that they don't want to see happen because maintaining that infrastructure, crime, and corruption, that is more important to them than progress or survival. It's just like Nero watching this room burn while fiddling, because many Jamaicans would rather see Jamaica burn to the ground and moral wise than really try and bring about the right type of change. And whether it's politicians in parliament, whether it's business people in their job, in their nice cushy jobs, whether it's the people on the streets, whether it's criminal gangs, and whether or not it is ordinary so-called ordinary civilians who support these bad elements, we're okay with that. I mean, like if that means that we sink like the Titanic, I mean, we'd rather do it because we have that same mindset as the white supremacists, especially in North America, where that continual system of crime Go racism, crime, and corruption. Be like, we rather than change that system, start punishing those on a wide scale all across the board. Yeah, we'd rather not do that. I mean, we like, even this is eats away at our fabric like poison and kills us off. Say, hey, it was nice. Well, the reality that we've known, we've come to nourish, and we've come to built upon. Yeah, I mean, it was nice when we know it. I mean, we'd rather die or fall on the swords rather than actually stand upright and do the moral and dignified thing. Yeah, we'd rather just see things burn to the ground. I mean, that's more important to us than that. And again, that is the thing that Jamaica, the Caribbean, too many people in the diaspora are thinking. Like I said, we would rather fall on that or proverbial sword than rather than do what's right. And I've said before, evil is like a cancer. I mean, if you don't treat it immediately, it's going to affect the rest of the whole body until you succumb. And even at that last moment when when you realize that you made the wrong decision, it's going to be too late. You're going to die, succumb to that proverbial cancer. And Jamaica, where we seems like we want to go that path of where we want to die on our swords and so on. But the thing is, I said that this is more to the Jamaicans who know better. This is to the Jamaicans who are not cowards, who are not in supporters and enablers of what's wrong and what's immoral, abhorrent, and downright, downright despicable. This is messages for you, particular, and this is why I'm doing this recording. So this is why with Jamaica I'm doing this important address that we have to acknowledge where we are, where we still are, where we need to go. I am glad to want to be part of those many voices that's speaking of what needs to be said. I'm not here to really conform or really tell you what you think you want to hear or in your son. Again, this is if you think that I'm one of those YouTube pages. There are plenty of other YouTube pages I can kindly show you the way. Don't bring that here though. I mean, I'm not here to really to please everybody. I'm here to say what needs to be said, and which ties to something that I need to brought up, especially with the COVID-19. And this is an example of what we're doing wrong in Jamaica. The way Jamaica, or when it started, we did a good job, manageable job with COVID-19. We weren't as out of control with it as let's say America, Brazil, Mexico, and various parts of Asia. We weren't so bad. Now, what then happened is, unfortunately, is that too many Jamaicans on an individual level who unfortunately didn't have the sense that God gave a worm. We decided that we're going to ignore safety and protocols, skyrocketed. There's also mentioned the so-called government we have. We've decided that we're going to kowtow to a lot of these businesses in Jamaica who, again, care more about how much money they're losing because of the pandemic rather than the lives are put in danger, especially these BPOs where they've had these workers in very unsafe and unsafe and reprehensible conditions where everyone could get the virus. I've done so many recordings on these companies, not just Jamaica, who have done this and who unfortunately are not facing any criminal charges, which is the recurring theme I notice. And we've also had the dumb decision to keep the borders open to certain tourists from Europe and America, and many of them have some of the highest COVID-19 rates. But again, it was too many of our so-called leaders and to some people in power. Too many of us said that our pockets being fattened or less or lack of. That wasn't button dollar. We've also had the so-called education board believing that we should reopen schools without endangering the lives of all these students and faculty, because again, money matters more than anything else. And as a result of all these stupid decisions, we have a very high infection rate. Now, the only silver lining in all of this is that we don't have as many deaths, and there have been a lot of recoveries. But again, we shouldn't have had the numbers should have been this high because if it continues to climb up and so on, we could be in the same boat as like say America, Europe, and these other places I mentioned where the numbers are skyrocketing and the graveyards are filling up with dead bodies of people who passed away. That's something that you need to think about, though. All right, about and the most notable example of this is during when the government called elections during elections prematurely, and then you had the dumb, mindless followers of both parties, the PNP and the GLP, all abandoned safety protocols. Not that the leaders, the MPs minded that, because you see pictures of them driving around in their vehicles campaigning. We're campaigning, despite the fact that many people were in close proximity of each other, well amongst the sheep we've called political supporters, without any masks or anything. And again, this is one reason why the COVID-19 infections raised up, and so on. But this again is when you have a nation that is built on immorality, a lack of concern or empathy for the populace, even though, let's be fair, most of the populace here in Jamaica don't have any concern for themselves. Hence the reasons why there's our so-called leaders are emboldened to act likewise. But this is an example again of where Jamaica still has a ways to go before we can improve things on an economic and moral scale. All right, and the thing is, like I said, and so on. Because, like I said, like the thing with Trump again, and there's a reason why he lost the election to Biden and Kamala, is because his botched handling of the Big C, and no, and nothing else though, but and so on. But whereas that caused the Big C caused Trump his election, I mean, interesting of the current government again, who should finger shield a lot of blame for how they've handled this whole mess overall. That didn't affect their chances, but then again, when you have weak opposition, this is you can pretty that's those sins are pretty much forgivable in the view as in the eyes of many of these supporters who vote. And so this is pretty much the zest of my address here, that 2020 has been a hell of a year, and that's good and bad. All right, and the thing is, as I keep saying, is that we have our work cut out for us. We have to be in this for the long haul. Jamaica, we need that warrior class of people, especially out of young men, especially. And again, no disrespect to the young women who are doing their things. I salute you, sisters, as well. But we need that warrior class. We need to have a warrior class that's going to fight and destroy and dismantle this evil system, the colonial system, destroy it and replace it with a system of racial equality and justice. We need every day more and more Jamaicans, more and more black people in diaspora, and also to all other groups and races who are maybe genuine allies. This is a team effort, and this is why I said that. Don't wait for that proverbial figure in white to come in on that horse and do all the heavy lifting. And this is what I said the Politics Watch video I did when he pulled a fast one when he said that I was leaving YouTube. And then unfortunately he basically told you that this was just basically to weed out all the people who were either glad to see me gone or were mad to see me gone. That was his intent. And the thing I said in the follow-up video I did two on Serpy, the thing I said in the second one is that if Politics Watch had been gone, what would have happened? How many Jamaicans would have risen to take his place? How many other Serpies would have risen if Serpy had actually left YouTube on his own accord? How many? Yeah, I'll wait for anyone to actually confirm that. Yeah, we'd have just gone, many of us who know better would have gone back to the sidelines, twiddling their thumbs and waiting for that hero, that imaginary hero, that imagined savior, that messiah to come in and take all the burdens while we sit and do nothing. I mean, and the thing is that I'm glad that that was a ruse I said with Sir P, but the problem would have I had is that if he hadn't been kidding, who would have picked up the sword and the shield and carried on him? Who would have vowed to continue the fight? Who would have vowed to avenge him? Make those who tried to out him suffer in the most unimaginable way possible, whether online or in real life? Who would basically be more emboldened, more incensed to press forward? Again, that's a rhetorical question because I know the answer to that. And this is the thing that Jamaica mostly needs to move on. It's a team effort. It's a group sport. It's not. We're not going to be followers looking for a leader because we can have anyone can lead the flock. It depends on who's going to lead the flock to the promised lands or who's going to lead them to the pit that we're all going to fall in and be stuck in. All right, and this is why the ideology of the black Jamaican, because remember, non-black Jamaicans, they put their race and their ethnicity before their nationality. Let's be honest with that. For black Jamaicans, the ideology is more important than anything else. All right, more important than the flag, and so on. More important than skin tone, more important than gender, more important than sexual orientation, more important than political political allegiances, and more important and so on, and more important than religious ideology. And yeah, I know people are going to say that you're forsaking God. No, I'm actually embracing the one true God, the God of emancipation, the God of independence, the God who wants a moral backbone, the God who's not saying that don't use don't use the church or the Bible as an excuse to be cowardly. All right, because the biblical figures that many Jamaicans claim to worship, claim to revere, especially Christ. I mean, we claim that we love Christ, but Jamaica is not really a society that's Christian. Let's just be honest with that. The one true God that Christians and other people are religious believe in. That God would be saying what needs to be said. God is going to say that all is to prioritize what's more important in order for you to keep pressing forward. And we have not done that. And that does not make you a true Christian. That makes you just a religious ideological coward. All right. And Christ, the one that you claim to worship in the Bible, the one, not the whitewashed one that the media keeps forcing on you, the real actual Christ, for those who believe in him, that Christ would not condone the BS that's going on in Jamaica. In fact, he'd be insulted that you're using his name and his image. Well, even though this is the fake image that they're trying to push, he would be incensed that you're using to just excuse the fact that, hey, I want to be on that slave plantation. All right, and that brings me to another point with Marcus Garvey, which I was so disgusted at. Bear in mind, in Jamaica, this same year, many Jamaicans chose to ignore Marcus Garvey's own birthday because political colors mattered more than one of the greatest men alive. The same Marcus Garvey that most Jamaicans didn't care about or check for. Well, after he got deported from America, tried to do his thing here in Jamaica, and basically Garvey left Jamaica in disgust. And only even when he's in his grave, when his body is returned, even he's still turning in that grave because black Jamaicans, like too many blacks in this diaspora, we still don't get it. And this is why it's so important to do this address. We did not honor Marcus Garvey this year. Well, the years before that, we didn't really honor him either. But this year, it was a disgusting display. And that's another thing we need to work on. We need to honor those who really gave their lives to make Jamaica a better place for the black collective. And we've turned on those people in thought, deed, because we still are thinking like slaves on that proverbial plantation. And as I said before, who go on vex? Go on vex, because this is not me really I'm not here to really tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear. And you need to hear this. All right. So this is going to be my last video for 2020. as we close out the year before 2021 begins. But next year, things are going to get ramped up a bit because we're still working and progressing on all areas, personally and online. So this has been my address to Jamaica for 2020. See you next year in 2021. Peace out.